Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the 9th update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. This is the eyeshadow-centric project pan that I've been working on for all of 2019, and I definitely have to thank my friend Alexi for all of the inspiration behind this project because she did this project both in 2017 and in 2018, and as always, I will link the playlist to both of those projects down in my description box. She just honestly inspired me so much to want to use the eyeshadows in my collection, to want to hit pan, to want to play with color, and to use things that are maybe outside of my comfort zone, and to just really familiarize myself with my collection. I have been having so much fun with this project pan so far, and I've been doing this now since the middle to end of December last year. So I've decided that next update, so update number 10, is going to be my finale to this project. And then I will revamp and restart this project again in 2020. I want to give myself maybe a month off of doing Pan Those Eyeshadows so that over the holiday season I can really feel free to just play with my collection, refamiliarize myself with some things that I haven't reached for a lot this year, and just get a month to also play with my Pan That palette so that I can really get to know that palette before having to integrate more eyeshadows into the rotation. I'm really excited to share with you guys all of my progress, so let's just hop on into it. This first palette has been in here the longest, and it is the Urban Decay Electric palette. I'm working on one shadow from this palette, and it is this green shade right here. This is called Thrash, and as you can see, I have not yet hit pan on it. I feel like I'm definitely getting close, but this month I only reached for it 3 times, which is not near enough at all to actually be able to hit pan in the eyeshadow. Every month it's kind of been around the same sort of number, and this next month I really want to hit pan on it so that by the end of this project I have a pan in this palette. That would feel so great because this is my oldest eyeshadow palette in my collection at the moment, I believe, and I would really like to see a pan in that shade because I've been working on it for months now. I feel like the reason why I haven't yet hit pan on it is because it is such a vibrant shade, and it really isn't something that I can reach for on an every single day basis, but you can see here it's just this beautiful like nuclear lime green shade. It's so much fun. I love it with like all of my natural coloring. So all of this is my natural hair color. My eyes are brown with like a little bit of green in them, and I feel like this color really does work with my coloring, but it's just not something I can wear all the time. It's not perfect for a lot of settings, so hopefully in the next month I can just give myself a chance to really play around and to use it in maybe some different ways. But I'm really excited to potentially hit pan on it in the next month and to use it for another month. The next shadow comes from my Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette. This palette has been in here now twice, and the shade that I'm working on is called Planet X. It is this shade right here, and as you can see, I did hit pan on it this past month. I hope you can see, yeah, there's a little shimmer of pan there. I did hit pan on it after using it 7 times this month. Altogether within this project, I did use this 16 times, and I know that because the month that I rolled this in is the month that I started tracking my uses. So 16 uses throughout the project. I used it in a variety of ways throughout this project. So I use it as a liner, I use it all over as like a full all over lid shade. I've used it on the outer corner. I've used it layered with other shades. And this past month, I really liked it. Actually, the last time, which is when I hit pan on it, I used this layered with Colourpop Couche, and it gave it this like really beautiful taupey kind of shade. And it was really quite interesting. And it's like unlike anything else that I have in my collection. So this was a lot of fun to play with, and I'm happy to be rolling this out. The next shadow is a single from Colourpop. It's this shade right here called the Big 3. This is a beautiful single shadow, and as you can tell, I clearly do not have pan in this shade quite yet. I am wearing it for the 2nd time this month today, so clearly I'm not going to make a lot of progress only reaching for it 2 times in an entire month. Today I'm wearing it on my inner corner as well as on the center of my lid, and I just haven't reached for this a lot because this actually is a like silvery blue foiled kind of shade. It's really deceiving in the pan. It looks quite white, but as you can see there, it really does have quite a lot of reflect to it, and it really does pull blue. So it's not something that I reach for all the time. It just doesn't really suit my personal style, or I don't find that it leans towards being used in a wide variety of looks either, at least with my personal style, where I tend to reach for more warm tones. but this is a lot of fun. I really like the way that this look that I'm wearing today turned out. I'm really happy with the way that this eyeshadow looks in it, and I know I won't be able to hit pan on this shade by the finale, but if I were to roll it in next year or something like that, I think I would have a lot of fun playing with it again. The next shadow also comes from Colourpop, and it's in the Pretty Much palette. This is a pressed pigment palette, which only contains 6 shadows, and clearly there's no pan in this palette, but the shade I'm working on is this shade right here called OTP. It's a really beautiful pink shimmer. It can be quite sheer, and I think that's maybe my problem with it. I feel like it pulls very, very sheer, and I can't really get a lot of impact from it, at least in the ways that I have been using it. Now, I've only worn it 3 times this month, so not a lot, and I wore it literally the first 3 days after I had dyed my hair pink. Those are the only times that I wore it, and I kind of exhausted myself of using this shadow after using it only 3 times. I don't really know a way that I love using this quite yet, or even a color pairing that I love, so I'm just gonna keep playing with it over the next month. You can see there is a decent sized dip. It's entirely possible I could hit pan in the next month, and I would love to see some pan in here in the next month, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. The next eyeshadow comes from this palette right here. This is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This is actually the second shadow that I've pulled from this palette, and it is the second shade right here called Stranded. So as you can see, I did hit pan in Stranded. I used it 16 times this month and 19 times last month. So it's only been in the project for 2 months. I used it 34 times, and truly, I'd probably used it a handful of times before this project, but realistically, all of the progress I made was throughout the last 2 months. So 34 uses to get that pan there. This gold, I did find I'd have to really build it up if I wanted high impact. It was a little bit more sheer, and I think that's why I was able to hit pan on it within 2 months, is just because I really liked to build it up, especially on my lid. Considering that this is one of the 2 palettes that I purchased for all of 2019, I'm really happy to see that there's already 3 pans in here, and I'm making really good progress on this palette. I like that it's been rolled into this project twice because I've had a chance to really play with it. Today, I wore this shade right here called Big Sky all over my lid, and I do find I'm reaching for this palette quite a lot, having had it in this project, but I do want to work on my older eyeshadows in this project pan, so I'm really hoping that next year I pull some palettes that I've had for longer than this one, but either way, it's been a lot of fun playing with the Born to Run palette. Lastly is another shadow from Colourpop. This is a Super Shock shadow in the shade LaLa, and as you can see, I did hit pan right there in the center of the pan. This is a raised pan, so that's like what I call like the nipple of the pan that's raised there, but I definitely did try my best to be nice and even. I didn't just dig right into the center, and I used this only 7 times this month in order to hit pan. I did used to wear this shadow so much, and I had it in a rolling Project 10 pan in the past, so I know I've gotten so much use out of this before hitting pan on it. I really try to keep it even when it comes to the Colourpop Super Shock shadows, but either way, I am really excited to be rolling this out of this project. And actually that means I hit my goal on 3 eyeshadows, which is crazy. I feel like that's one of my more successful months for this project pan, and that means I'm going to be rolling in 3 new shadows just to work on for the last month of this project. So let's pull those now. So I removed my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette from my spreadsheet because that's going to be my Pan That palette for 2020. And I did declutter a couple shadows if you guys saw my most recent makeup declutter. So I'm down to 265 eligible eyeshadows. That means I have 265 shadows in my collection that do not have pan on them, and we're gonna draw 3. So I'm gonna start with the first shadow selection, so 231. Okay, so I guess I spoke too soon about my Born to Run palette because shadow 231 is from the Born to Run palette, and it's the shade called Ignite. It's this bronze copper kind of shade, and I don't see it being a problem being able to hit pan on this, but there's no way I'm going to be able to hit pan on this within the next month. It'll be nice though. I'll have a chance to just continue to play with this palette and to familiarize myself more so with this formula. And yeah, it's this beautiful copper bronzy shade, and this is hysterical. I can't believe that this is now the 3rd shadow out of this palette that I've randomly selected, but yeah, I'm gonna have some fun playing with this for the month of November. The next shadow is going to be number 86. Okay, so this month is going to be an interesting month already. So the next shadow came from the Juvia's Place, the Zulu palette. I know I cannot hit pan on any of these shades within a month because you know I worked for like 6 or 7 months on the yellow shade right here, but the shade that I selected is shade number 6, which is this beautiful metallic blue shadow. I was actually tempted to use this shadow today. I was initially thinking of wearing this shade on my lid, and then for some reason I ended up pulling in Big Sky instead, but this is such a beautiful, beautiful, vibrant blue shade. I'm not gonna get a ton of use out of this. I might use it maybe 3 or 4 times within the month, but I can't imagine myself using it more than that. But either way, it'll be fun to reach for this palette and to play with this palette as a whole for the month of November. I love this palette so much. This is a really beautiful palette. I'm really happy this is a part of my collection. I just know the challenge of hitting pan in that within a month is just an impossible feat, but will be fun to play with that shadow. And I feel like that's gonna pair really nicely with the big 3, and it could actually go really well with Thrash as well. So I have one last shadow to select, and that is going to be number 233, which means it also is in my Born to Run palette. What the heck? Okay, so let's just take a look. I'm gonna keep you guys on camera because 231 was the other one that I selected, so 233 would be, yeah, from the Urban Decay Born to Run. It's the shade Wanderlust, so I have that palette right here beside me. And Wanderlust is, ooh, I'm gonna have some fun with this shade actually. So Wanderlust is this green shade right here. It's like a deep, almost, I don't even know, like a black or gray based green. And I think that's, again, gonna pair really well with Thrash. So I know I can't hit pan on this within a month. I've only played with this actually a few times, so there really isn't a lot of wear on this, but it's, oh, oops, I swatched them really close together. But it's quite a deep shade, so it's not something I can wear on an everyday basis. But maybe I'll play with that as like a liner, or I can do like a really like heavy smoky eye with that as well. But what the heck? Why does this project really just want me to use the Urban Decay Born to Run palette? I do not know. So this right here is going to be my color palette for the next month. Like I said, I will be wrapping up this project after the next month, but it will be a lot of fun to work on these. Hopefully I can hit pan on some of the older shadows that have been in here a while, specifically OTP from the Colourpop Pretty Much palette or Thrash from the Urban Decay Electric. So we'll just see how the next month goes. Hopefully there's one new pan added to this project. And yeah, that's absolutely everything for today. Thank you guys so much for watching and for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.